What's up, YouTube? It's FitzBro, and we're back with another farming tutorial, how to set down your farms quickly in Age of Empires 4. And this is a very important skill because oftentimes when you're transitioning to farms, you might have other action going on the battlefield. You might be fighting on the front line, facing raids, doing something else on the map. So you want to be able to do this quickly and efficiently. So the number of villagers you need to have is 8. 8 is the ideal number. Now, we're not going to talk about those crazy fancy English farms where you might do some spider web formation, whatever you want to call it. We're just talking about your standard farm placement. And the trick here is going to be the difference of when you hold shift and when you don't hold shift. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to hold down shift. You're going to place your mill. Now, still holding shift, you're going to select your farm. And now you can do your typical right click on the middle and it'll surround it perfectly. And at the end, you have to let go and right click on this partially built mill. So what that does is as your villagers go around and place the farms, they will drop off one farmer at a time. You see that farmer's already working. Now we got 2 farmers working. This is very important because there's a way to do it incorrectly. Let me show you. If I place my mill, I hold my shift and I place all of my farms. And then if I'm still holding shift and right click, watch what happens. So I held shift all the way through that sequence there. And what's going to happen, and my villagers will walk around to all these farms and they won't drop off villagers. So see how this is an issue? No one is farming yet. So this is the incorrect way to do it. This is me holding shift through the entire sequence. Okay, so once again, what you want to do is you hold that shift to place everything, then let go of shift when you right click onto the mill. So let me do it in the correct way. I'm going to place it, select my farm, hold shift. I'm going to left click on my mill. And at the very end, I let go of my shift and I right click on my mill. I usually right click several times just to make sure the command goes through because it technically needs to cancel out your building of the farm command. Okay, so that's all you gotta do. Hold shift all the way through, let go at the end, and then right click on the mill and your villagers will drop off as they go. Now, let's talk about another scenario here. So say you have a mill already complete. So we've got this mill built here, and this could be the scenario. Maybe you didn't have the wood to actually build those farms, or maybe even like you were trying to switch to farms, but you didn't have enough yet. So maybe, you know, you've got these 2 villas already working and you wanted to add an additional 6 villagers because say now you have the wood for it. Okay, so when you're going to do this on a pre-built mill, or perhaps you weren't fast enough at doing the sequence, maybe you dropped down your mill right here and you didn't get through the sequence fast enough to let go and right click on the mill and it completed in that time. What you need to do is select your farm, do your typical building around here with shift, and then let go and right click on an unbuilt farm. Now I should have clicked that one right there. But so kind of similar to the letting go of shift at the end of the mill building sequence, you see it's going to drop off 1 villager at a time, which is what we want. Now let me show you what happened if we do the undesired behavior. So I'm going to cancel all those. So this time what I'm going to do is this is an already built mill. I'm going to hold shift and let these build all around. And then I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to right click a farm. Let's see what happens here. All my villagers are going to keep walking around. Okay, so that is an issue. That's not what we want. I'll show you the same thing. This is again a pre-built mill here. And if I do the shift method that we said with letting go at the end and clicking the mill, it still won't work. Okay, so now I let go of shift. I've right click on the mill. You would think this would work from that sequence we practiced earlier, but actually in that case I was holding food, so they really didn't do what I wanted. Let's try that again there. Delete those. Okay, so I'm going to hold shift, build all these, and I'm going to right click on the mill, and nothing's going to happen in this case. Okay, so those are the 2 different scenarios. You're either building from scratch or you're building where there's already a mill. And so to go back to what you want to do for an unbuilt one, you set the mill, select your farms, hold shift, still holding, let go of shift, right click on that unbuilt mill. Remember, it's different once the mill is built up. Okay, so they're going to complete that mill and then they're going to drop off 1 villager at a time, which is what you're going to want. And then I'll show you the scenario over here where I have a pre-established mill where I'm going to bring my villagers. I'm going to hold shift on the farms, and then I let go of shift and right-click on the nearest farm. Okay, you want to select the farm instead of the mills, and they will slowly drop off one villager as they go around and build those. Okay, so there's a few different ways and different scenarios you might experience of building farms. Of course, as I mentioned, go into skirmish, just practice doing this just like I've done here, and build 4, 5, 6 farms till this really feels comfortable. Because ideally, you want to be over here managing your army, and then you want to be able to go back, select some idle villagers, and use your hotkeys. Let go of shift and right click that mill at the end, and they'll drop off as they go. Okay, guys, let me know if you have any other tips for building these farms. Of course, we didn't address the funky arrangements of farms you could build if you're playing as the English, or maybe even HRE. Perhaps you want to have some different ways of building farms to get that Aachen Chapel influence, and maybe we'll do that in a future video. So let me know in the comments below if you got any other tips. And as always, make sure to hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.